Happy Saturday, Risers. We hope you're having a phenomenal weekend. Sagar and I are back with some of our favorite moments from the week.
In June, progressive Jamaal Bowman, he ousted longtime Congressman Eliot Engel in New York's 16th congressional district. The victory by the former middle school principal was another bit of promise for some progressives. So this week, the Democratic nominee, he talked about his challenge to Dem colleagues to refuse PAC money.
Well, absolutely. You know, I recently did a live stream with Senator Sanders challenging my Democratic colleagues to stop taking corporate PAC money. And I'll submit that challenge here again. Stop taking corporate PAC money, particularly money from the fossil fuel industry, the military industrial complex, big pharma and big real estate, because it's these big industries, big tech as well, it's these big industries that are continuing to nurture inequality and economic oppression that we see throughout our country. So I will continue. I will not take corporate PAC money. I will not. I will continue to challenge my colleagues to do so. But it's also about policy to ensure that the wealthy pay their fair share, to ensure that large corporations pay federal tax, and to break up these monopolies, break up these big banks, break up these large corporations that are like big, even the farming industry and corporate farming. We need to break up these large corporations so that we can invest in the people on the ground that have been neglected for far too long.
So look, this is the big question. Mm-hmm. People like Jamaal and Mondaire Jones and Cori Bush, hopefully Alex Morse, if he's able to beat Richie Neal, when they come into the House, are they going to go along to get along, or are they going to take the heat of actually going against the Democratic establishment with all of the media incoming and the hate and all of that comes with it? That is really the open question.
Yeah, all signs point to no. I'm not saying just about Jamaal. I don't know anything about Jamaal, but AOC, Mama Bear, Pramila Jayapal endorsed Joe Kennedy. Didn't fight for a lot during the bailout. She didn't even have any red lines, right? They were like, the Progressive Caucus is just taking a back seat in so much of this. So
she thinks that she could be Speaker of the House. She thinks she could be Nancy Pelosi's successor.
Yeah, okay, all right.
And so it's a very Elizabeth Warren type mentality of like, well, if I'm nice to these people, if I get along with these people, then I'll be able to achieve power. It never works. I mean, that's the thing I really want people to understand. Look at Elizabeth Warren. She abandoned everything she ever stood for, and she got like a stupid DNC speaking slot out of it. She did the big money fundraiser. She bent the knee. She said, "Don't worry, Joe. You won. I lost. I'm not going to do anything." And still, Wall Street, they would have nothing to do with her. So you got to make a choice. Doesn't matter how nice Jamaal or Cori or AOC or any of them are to Pelosi. Pelosi is very clear-eyed, and her as, the leader of the Democratic establishment, very clear-eyed about them being the enemy and needing to crush them. And she will have do absolutely whatever it takes to make sure that is the case. But the same clear-eyed acknowledgement of the real stakes here needs to go in the other direction.
Pelosi said nice things about Ed Markey. She still stabbed him in the chest. They don't care. All right.
We picked up a new term from Matt Stoller this week, decency porn. He puts that in context here.
Yeah, I mean, this is decency porn, right? That's what it is. And the idea, if you don't promise any policy and you just say our leaders are going to know how to use the right salad fork, then it's kind of up in the air what they're going to do. And I don't think that Biden, Obama, to me, was a really bad president. His policy framework tilted, extremely towards the wealthy, towards deference to power. I don't think Biden is as bad as Obama in that respect. Biden is just more transactional. He doesn't really believe in anything, whereas Obama was really dedicated to neoliberal policies. But I don't know. I mean, that's the thing about Biden is you just don't know. It's really disorganized. He obviously, doesn't care that much about, policy. In some ways, that's good. But, you don't know where that's going to head. The whole environment is different with China, with inequality. So it's kind of a mystery to me what he's going to do. And I think it's a mystery to most Democrats who I don't actually think they care that much about what they're going to do in government. They don't necessarily notice that that's the point of the election.
Yeah. Very well said.
Absolutely.
Decency porn is like the best framing of the DNC that I heard all week, because it's so true. And look, there are many person-to-person instances that you can point to of Joe Biden and his basic decency. No doubt about that. But what Matt is saying, and which is completely absent from the DNC, and which I think he's right, a lot of Democrats just don't seem to care about, is that I don't need you to be my personal friend. I need you to actually secure people's housing and rights and jobs and make sure that we are going to be safe. So on that metric, he's been fairly lacking.
Data's all there in Trump 2016. Majority of the people who voted for Trump had a disfavorable view of him. They're like, yeah, we don't think he's a good person, but we don't care because we think he's going to do something for us. A lot of people don't care about how you are personally. I mean, some do, but not a lot. I'm saying in terms of overwhelming numbers of voters, what they care is what are you going to do for them. That's what actually matters to a lot of voters.
Absolutely.
All right. And former Congressman and current Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison talked about how Minneapolis is a hotbed for up-and-coming leaders. Take a listen.
Well, I think Minneapolis has birthed some leaders and offered some real leadership. People like Candace Montgomery were known around town here, but we've seen them all over the national and even international media. We've seen young leaders here who have been organizing in the street for everything from climate issues to policing to criminal justice reform. A young woman named Leslie Redmond, 28-year-old president of the NAACP in Minneapolis. Now we see her speaking on MSNBC and giving voice to the issues that people are facing. So I think we've offered leadership to the country. We began to really talk about how we reset a relationship between community and police that I think will be to the benefit of both. And so, it's something that I think is important. At the same time, we've gone through our own struggles with this process of change. As is pointed out already, we're still trying to clean out the rubble. We're still working on other issues of public safety. We're still trying to continue the reform drive forward. And so it has its struggles as well.
He really lit up, too, when we asked him about, the future of the Democratic Party, and he's clearly very engaged in that struggle. I mean, you'll recall Keith Ellison's big supporter, Bernie Sanders, really went on a limb for him early on when a lot of people weren't.
Right.
He was their candidate to be DNC chair. Obama had to come in, intervene to get his guy, Tom Perez, in there. I mean, I think that moment actually is really underanalyzed in terms of setting the course and trajectory for Obama to still have control over the party, get his nominee, get his way, be able to secure his legacy. Keith sounded an optimistic note that progressives would be able to do the work and move Biden to the left. I am more skeptical. So I appreciate the optimism. But look, you look at the DNC, they're not going to give you more than what they've promised. They will maybe give you less than what they promised, but they're not going to give you more. So, I think we need to be a little bit clear-eyed about that.
Yeah, I think that's right. And Keith is a very interesting guy, and he took the questions in stride, so I give him a lot of credit for that. You're right. It's just funny. We talked to him during the DNC. Well, he's at his house. He didn't get to speak. He almost ran, and he almost became the chairman of the entire thing until Obama was like, no, that's not going to happen. So.
Yeah, well, he is a progressive, so we can't have any of that. All right, that does it for us. We'll be back later today with a week that was in media screw-ups.
Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos, and don't forget to like and share as well. Tomorrow, going to be back for another round of #RisingQs, and we'll see you guys then.
Have a good day.